Good morning, everybody. This is your DAX day trade setups for today. So as I said yesterday, we're starting to fizzle out. We got this flag slash channel forming here after the break of the weekly trend line, and we've got the oscillators grouping to the upside. So if you look at just this price action from sort of yesterday and going into close of the day before, you more than likely are expecting something along the lines of a break of this to downside to come and find support lower down. So these oscillators here are telling us don't bother chasing longs, wait for structure. So trend is up. We've got a crossover of the moving averages, fairly decent crossover. What we haven't really had is a decent test of the 155. So that's one thing that is missing. But nevertheless, trend is up. You can see on the 3-hour, trend is still up. We've got a lot of chaos here. Bobbed wire, tails to the downside, tails to the upside. Oscillators have eased off, separating quite nicely. This is turning towards a fairly strong bullish pattern. We have kind of slipped below the bottom of the flag, but this flag target is pretty much this area here at 13,421. So 13,421 is a key level that we need to pay attention to. That's something where you may find some buyers coming in. So if we just look at yesterday, big up, big down, big confusion, nothing really going on there. Bit of a break of the trend line to the downside. We've got the moving averages all sort of grouping to the downside. Moving averages, sorry, the oscillators grouping to the downside here. So lots going on. And to be quite honest, as I said yesterday, this looks was looking a lot more bullish than what the US markets were actually looking like. But you can see now we've got a crossover on the 15-minute. We sort of just hovering around here in the middle of nowhere. There is some structure here, but we're not really adhering to that structure properly. So for me, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a deeper pullback moving down to this area here, and that is 13,433, 13,421. So moral of the story for me today, and this is going to be a pretty tight trade. So wait for that first hour, like I said yesterday, wait for that first hour of pre-market trading where the actual market's open to complete. Draw a level along the top and the bottom, and you'll be looking for that as your range. So if I just use this here, that was the top side, that was the bottom side. And you can see there was no trade trading that range strategy. So this was a break, but you would have wanted an entry on top of the break, or even a pullback to the midline, the 50% of this range. So I think the same logic applies today. Just bear in mind the US CPI data may just ensure that this thing stays in the range that it is, and if you do have time, you may actually see something on the 5-minute. So for as long as you're below the 155 on the 5-minute, trend is down. So you may just see a gentle meander to the downside. Kind of in two minds whether I actually want to trade it. That's the one thing on the at the back of my mind. We do have this structure here that we're just flirting with. Then we've got this level here that was also flirted with, something like that. That doesn't really give us the channel target, so it's not a really strong level. And this weekly diagonal is pretty strong, and we have a 155. You see we're below the 155 here, then we got above it. We haven't retested it, so that would give us a retest of the 155. So I'll be watching to see what happens here. 12,438, 13,450, 13,420. So let's just say 13,425 area would be a target for a downside move, but I'd wait for a decent break of this chaos that's happening. You can see we are rejecting the 155. So a decent break is going to be below here. So you're looking for an entry around 13,566, and it's basically a 50-point stop loss above the current highs of this morning. That's as it stands now, but if you know, it may just expand it a little bit, but same logic applies. Just just do that. Just put a block in. So long as you're below the 155, you're looking for a break of this to the downside. And don't be too surprised if this messes up your plans, which is 13,543 for a short. And then what you're looking for is the bottom of this channel, which is all the way down here at 13,420. That's kind of the setup that I've got at the moment, and that would be this morning. I would not want to be trading this afternoon before the CPI data comes out. But you know, if it does get moving fairly strongly, it might be worthwhile taking. If it gets moving to the downside, that is, it might be worthwhile taking a position, taking some off when you get close to target, leaving a little bit on with a stop at entry or just below entry, just to protect your capital, and then see what happens. Maybe the data is going to be negative and it's going to trigger a much bigger move to the downside, and doesn't really matter to me what kind of move it triggers the downside. The trend is up on the 3 hours, so that would be an opportunity to buy again. Anyway, that's kind of my long-winded story this morning. Hope it helps. Just keep those stops really tight and trade this very low time frames. Otherwise, you're just going to really frustrate yourself. Anyway, that's it for me today. I hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.